Hey guys, Rogue Orange here. One of my wishlist consoles is finally in working condition. This is the Cebu Lions Game Boy Pocket. If you aren't aware, the Cebu Lions are a professional baseball team in Japan belonging to the Nippon Professional Baseball League. Released in 1997, this Game Boy Pocket was a limited time item mainly sold at the Cebu Lions team store and essentially nowhere else. The original bundle would have had a box and a special pouch that came with it, but mine did not come with those. However, consolevariations.com suggests that between 1,000 and 5,000 units were ever available, making this quite rare. I bought mine from Yahoo Auctions Japan back in 2024 for around $100 or so. The only problem, it was in this condition. To repair this Game Boy, I needed to assess the damages, starting with the most obvious issue, the screen. While the screen is repairable, a simple replacement of the polarizer, it simply won't do for our restoration. So in that same consolidation, I also had picked up a red Game Boy Pocket that is in much better and working condition. This was initially meant to be used for the entirety of the project. You will soon learn why that wasn't the case. The other noticeable issues on the outside, like scratches and worn stickers, weren't very concerning, as I didn't plan on using any replacement stickers. However, getting inside was where this project took a wicked turn. Taking off the battery cover is where I found the first of many issues. This battery contact was absolutely atrocious, covered in a mix of battery corrosion and even a little bit of rust. Once inside the console, I knew my work was cut out for me. It was clear somebody had spilled liquid on this thing. The board would not be reusable. The headphone jack, the battery terminals, a majority of the solder points, even the external cable port were corroded beyond belief. Plenty of raised parts of the board where corrosion had eaten through were visible and concerning. Not to mention the rusty Phillips head screws holding the board in. While two of the screws came out fine, this third one caused me trouble. Upon trying to unscrew it, it was clear that the rust was the only thing holding its shape. I tried turning the screwdriver, and the first turn disintegrated the screw head and stripped it immediately. I tried pliers, I tried the rubber band trick, I tried the glue and screwdriver trick. This was not coming out. Not having an immediate solution forced me to take a break from this project. Having a little free time and other responsibilities caused me to essentially abandon this project. I sat on this without time to figure out another solution. That was until, if you've been paying attention, I found impromptu free time and managed to take this apart again to finally get this done. Knowing that the screw isn't coming out in a traditional way, I still needed to get the motherboard out. Knowing that this board was, as the kids say, chopped, I knew what I had to do. Using brute force, I cut out a piece of the board so that I could lift it out and continue disassembly. The rubber button membranes were stained with corrosion. While totally usable, I just opted for the ones in the red Game Boy instead. Removing the screen, cartridge shield, and buttons left me with an empty shell with a single screw that wouldn't come out. It would take a pair of medical-grade pliers to finally get this screw out. I tried using the magic erasers to remove the rust staining from the screw posts, but it didn't work at all, so I'll just have to live with the cosmetic imperfections. Based on the dirt and rust inside of the shell, it was clear that somebody had spilt something on this and never cleaned it up, and the batteries then corroded and caused all this damage. So while everything got a really nice clean and was set out to dry, it was time to take apart the donor. Unfortunately, this is where the mistake comes in. While the screen in the donor was perfectly usable in the new setup, I had not paid attention to the model number. This donor unit had a different board that did not contain the power LED that the Cebu Lions Game Boy Pocket featured. Using my 1000 IQ, I realized that my Game Boy restoration for the first ever one was a green Game Boy Pocket with the same model number and board as the Cebu Lions Game Boy. All hope was still alive. Once all the usable parts were once again dry, the original buttons, new membrane, new screen all went in, the green Game Boy's motherboard, and the new battery contact from the red one, as well as new screws for the board and cartridge shield all went in so that we could reassemble. Overall, I'm so happy with how this turned out. I wanted to use as many original parts as possible, so things like the sticker are not going to be replaced, nor the serial number, for the sake of authenticity. Now, I know the purists are going to tell me that this wasn't a repair, but more of a part swap, and I totally agree. This was more of restoring this into just working condition, not so much as, a repair, so to speak. While it's not perfect, I'm certainly not complaining now that the Game Boy is actually working. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video on the Sabu Lions Game Boy Pocket. If you guys enjoyed this video, then be sure to leave a like. If you want to subscribe and see more, then I encourage you to do so. Be sure to ring the bell so that you don't miss any uploads. Check out my channel page where I occasionally post behind the scenes and other updates. Shout out to Poggers, my channel sponsor. Be sure to use the code ORANGE or use the link in the description to save 10%. All of my socials are also in the description. Anyways, my name's been Rogue Orange, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.